Soaking my feet in some Epsom salt. We are at the Adobe Cafe for a Mother's Day brunch. And the menu is really awesome, but they have extra special menus for Mother's Day. I'm back on trail. The last 2 days have been pretty interesting. I ended up double zeroing in reserve. I never even planned on going there in the first place. But my foot was still kind of bothering me. I'm really glad I took the time to rest it. It was actually numb on the ball of my right foot. It was definitely swollen and painful there. So my foot's not 100%, but it's feeling a lot better. Now I have actual socks to wear. Although I think they are cotton socks. But I do have more socks waiting for me in Pie Town, and I expect to be there in 2 days, so I think these socks will do just fine until then. I'm actually not feeling so great today. It's Mother's Day, and we went to the Adobe Dough Cafe further west of Reserve. Got a ride there. It was 7 miles or something. And I had a Mother's Day brunch. And I kind of mistakenly chose the crepes, which was all butter and sugar and cheese. It was incredibly rich. I actually didn't finish it, and I felt really ill. I spent like the second half of breakfast and then the ride back to the trail trying not to vomit. I still feel a little bit vomity, but I feel like a child who just ate an entire bag of Halloween candy. It was way too much sugar. The other dishes that the people got that I was with looked a lot better, honestly. I wish I went with the steak because the steak looked fantastic. And I'd probably have better energy too. But that amount of sugar was really disgusting. It was delicious, but oh man, I couldn't do it. It was bad. What got me doing a second zero day was the wine and beer festival, or tasting. They had a fundraiser event, and they had various wines, liquors, and beer, and then it was also catered a little bit with live music, and it was actually pretty cool getting to go to that. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I went. We were all staying in a room that was basically an entire house, which was really cool, with a full kitchen. We made an awesome breakfast, watched movies. It almost felt like a hostel. And then we had other hikers that were staying in hotel rooms over to hang out with us and such. So as much as I feel like I missed out on not leaving when I wanted to, I had a really good time. Reserve was pretty cool. It was definitely hiker friendly. Very hard to get a ride into though, so I'm not sure that I'd necessarily recommend making that stop, but if you do go in, it was pretty good. So yesterday we spent the morning doing a silly video. Twerk wanted to do a parody over families that hike together, like mom, dad, and a bunch of kids, but doing it kind of like a trail family. And it was pretty funny. It was hysterical to film. It was just pretty goofy. So like weird moments like that definitely kind of make the experience. These trails are definitely about the social interactions that you have, and like it just gets really entertaining. The people you meet along the way and the moments and memories you have. Like that's what really makes a thru hike for me. So I'm currently hiking the red line. The red line is the term for the official CDT, but almost everyone is off on the blue line. There's like a little trail cut off that I'll be taking to cut back over to there. But on the blue line right now the blue line is all dirt road from my understanding. The red line ends up being a pretty long highway road walk at the very end into Pie Town. But there's like a area where you could take another trail to cut over to it. But at least this time this is trail, which I found is better for my feet. Hiking on dirt roads are better, but just hiking on a road for a long time is actually pretty rough on your feet. Doing the same motion over and over and over again versus like hiking on a trail. This is like very varied terrain each step. My foot is being placed slightly differently. So I think this will do my feet better. But then it's the same distance as everyone else that headed off with me. That's Old Bag, Rosemary, Twerk, Kid, Sauce, and Stallion. And then the other group that helped us with the videos, Monk, Critter, and Shotgun, they actually headed off last night after the festival at the bar. So, I might not really continue hiking with them, although they're super cool. They really want to push miles to make it to a post office in time, and right now I'm feeling kind of like really gross from the crepes, so I don't expect to be making those miles today. They want to do night hiking, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Yeah, so I might catch up with them later. I mean, that's like part of the beauty of the trail is that you make friends and then hike with them for a little bit, then you might not see them for a month, and then you'll run into a town, and then you're all together again, and then you hike together. Like, I feel like it just kind of rotates. Maybe I'll end up with a family that I stick with, or maybe I'll just rotate around. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just gonna, see what comes naturally. And right now, that is not hiking 20 miles into the night when I feel like I'm gonna vomit from super sugary crepes. This is pretty rough, but I mean, overall the train's really nice. But we are supposed to have some really heavy winds throughout today, tonight, and then in through tomorrow night. I think this is the coolest gate I've come across. It has a whole Continental Divide Trail decal right in it. They're gone now, but I just scared a herd of elk. Oh, no, there's one there. There's one running through the woods. Yep, there's the fourth elk. Pretty far off in the distance, but that was pretty cool. I saw some elk in the car, one on the way here, and of course like 30 on the way out, but that's pretty cool seeing some elk actually on foot. Yeah, that was awesome. I veered off of the CDT to take the Mangus Spur that will lead me back to the blue line that the majority of hikers are taking. That one just makes more sense because there's no like long highway road walk after getting up there, and just kind of takes you straight into Pie Town, and there's a spigot on the way. But when I was looking at my inReach earlier, the maps on there show that this basically is the CDT. It's definitely interesting to see the differences between the CDT on gut hooks and the CDT on the Topo inReach maps that I downloaded. Obviously the trail's been updated, but I don't know why the trail would necessarily do that, but this seems like the best route in my opinion. Also, this specific trail is hardly used, super overgrown. It does not look like people walk this normally. Okay, the Mangus Spur was getting hard to follow, but it was paralleling the blue line that everyone else is hiking for a while, like pretty close. Like, I don't know, like half of, like 0.05 mile or something, So I decided to just kind of bushwhack over because the trail was just becoming harder and harder to follow. So I figured this would just be easier. Now I just gotta follow along this dirt road all the way to Pie Town pretty much. Unsure if the other hikers are ahead or behind me, or they pop out in the middle. No idea, but I assume they probably made better time being on the dirt road than I did, even though it's about the same amount of mileage. But I'm glad I had my adventure that not as many people take. I mean, it's like choose your own adventure, right? It is super windy up here, but off in the distance is very hazy. It definitely looks like fire smoke. There's a ton of really bad fires in New Mexico, so it could be traveling, especially with all the high winds we've been getting. I just saw my first trail turkey. Just went right down this hill. Might jump back out. Oh, there it goes. The trail is really rough, so it's hard to keep steady. You just ran across the road. Why did the turkey cross the road? I've been wanting to have camped by now, but the wind is really picking up, and I'm trying to find a space that's more sheltered. And the more I'm walking, I'm not finding anything good. But the sun's already set. Not really a fan of this. Looks like I'm coming up on an elk around the corner. Seeing its butt sticking in and out. I'll walk up on it soon. Yep, there's a whole herd of elk. There's a lot of them. Of course, they, basically scattered by the time I get the camera to look at them. Wow. There's so many. Look at all of them. There's so many elk. They definitely have an odor. Oh, I definitely smelled an odor from them. Fascinating. And it does feel a lot more sheltered on this side. But I don't think I want to camp with like a herd of elk next to me.